Chinese characters. They have existed throughout history as the Chinese people's primary writing method. The average person knows about 3,500 individual characters. Scholars normally know over 5,000, and there are over 100,000 in existence. Chinese characters developed from the oracle bones inscriptions through the bronze script, which was used for inscriptions on bronze vessels, to the squiggly characters of the Warring States and Qin dynasty. And then finally, during the Han Dynasty, Chinese characters became pretty much standardized with the clerical and official scripts, which are pretty similar to the traditional characters that we use today. And although it sounds complicated, don't worry, they're not all as hard as this one.
Look, I did it. Yeah, let's check. Okay, is it missing anything?
It's missing something.
The construction of many of the characters is very simple and easy. The character for 1, 2, and 3, for example, are just 1, 2, and 3 strokes, and the character for 100 is 100 strokes. No, just kidding. A lot of characters have 10 strokes or less, and they are not totally unique. There are 214 radicals which are combined together to make up characters kind of like the letters of an alphabet. And after you've learned them, you get used to the familiar look of Chinese characters, whether that's written with a calligraphy brush or on the street in Chinatown. But wait, what is this? That looks kind of like Chinese, but different. And then what about this? Well, believe it or not, these are all forms of written Chinese. There were various alternative scripts that existed at certain times in history, and in this video, we are going to explain 3 of them. This is alternative Chinese writing systems you never knew existed. So during the Warring States period, everyone wrote in these curved, squiggly characters developed out of the bronze script. When the Qin conquered all of China in 221 BC, it decided on the small seal script, or xiaozhuan, as the official writing system for their empire. But different states at this time all had their own styles, and there is another writing system that existed at the time that was even more rounded and squiggly than the small seal script, and that was bird and worm script, or niaochong shu, also sometimes called niaochong zhuan, or bird and worm seals. Okay, seals like stamps that you stamp on a piece of paper, not a cute baby seal. This script was common for use in inscriptions in the states of Wu and Yue. And the most famous example of this script on an artifact that's still in existence is the inscription on the sword of Gou Jian, the king of Yue. The inscription on the sword reads, Yue Wang Gou Jian, Zi Zuo Yong Jian, the sword that the king Gou Jian of Yue forged and used for himself. And just take a look at how different those characters are to regular traditional Chinese characters. Although this was a pre-Qin dynasty script, it didn't completely die out with the Qin takeover, and you will still find versions of this, often even more bird-like, being used in seals during the Han and even the Tang dynasty. Here's one seal and what it's supposed to say in regular Chinese characters. Yeah, I can't really make out which is which, but the next one is a lot easier, alright? 得大自在. You can kind of see the characters, okay, going from top to bottom, right to left. Or this one, 明山藏. There is also modern calligraphy in a modern form of bird and worm script. Basically, these were decorative scripts and originated from being forged onto weapons and also on seals. People probably didn't write like this in their daily lives. I mean, just to make a casual shopping list, like what shall I buy? Incense, bronze sacrificial vessels. If I had to draw a load of birds and worms, it would be quite impractical. So let's now look at an alternative Chinese writing system that people actually used to write. So during the Song dynasty, there were, for some time, 2 competing dynasties to the north. The Liao Khitan and the Western Xia, or Xixia, ruled by the Tangut people. And for some reason, they thought that it would be a good idea to create their own set of characters. Emperor Jinzong commissioned an official to create these characters in the year 1036. Don't these look like those fake Chinese characters created by AI when you ask for a Chinatown scene or something? Like, what is this? You know? Oh, and look, we got a bit of bird and worm script on the guy's shirt too. There is some scholarship saying that Tangut characters actually existed prior to 1036, but at a minimum, the emperor's proclamation in 1036 ordered the compilation of official dictionaries and set the Tangut characters as the official script. There are about 6,000 Tangut characters known about today, and this is a rare example of a civilization actually making their writing system more complicated. Like, look at the number 2. In Chinese, it's 2 strokes. In Tangut, it's 10. And look at the word da, or big, right? It's 3 strokes in Chinese, 14 in Tangut. And while modern Chinese characters have 214 radicals, or the components that make up the characters, Tangut has 755. And unlike Chinese, tangut characters are not pictographic at all. Like, they don't in any way resemble the thing that they are depicting. Like in Chinese, the word for horse kind of looks like a horse, or you see where it comes from, the word for sun kind of looks like a sun, but no. These don't look anything like what they're depicting. They are just characters with an average of 20 strokes that you just have to remember. Man, I'm glad the Western Xia dynasty never managed to conquer the whole of China. And the fate of the Western Xia dynasty was actually pretty bad though. When the Mongols started their campaign to eventually take over all of China, the Western Xia was one of their first targets. But the Western Xia mocked the Mongols and challenged them to battle. This angered Genghis Khan, who adopted a policy of complete destruction towards the Western Xia. The Mongols marched on the Western Xia during the years 1226 and 1227, destroying cities in their path. It culminated in a 6-month siege of the Western Xia capital, followed by the Western Xia's surrender and the complete destruction of the city by Mongol forces. Although the Western Xia was destroyed, a lot of text had been written in and translated into tangut characters. Many Buddhist scriptures, for example, and also Chinese classics like Sun Zi Bing Fa or The Art of War. The last known use of tangut characters in history is this pair of pillars erected in the year 1502 in the middle of the Ming Dynasty. And you can see both Chinese and tangut characters carved into the stone. So that was the ultra complicated and hard to remember tangut script. Let's now look at a set of Chinese characters that are way more elegant. Our final Chinese writing system today is one that was created for women by women. It's like the original Fubu.
For us, by us, mother.
So in Imperial China, families often didn't educate their daughters. It was seen as a luxury if you could afford a tutor for your daughter, since it was the sons who would grow up to become government officials and the daughters got married off to other families anyway. So typically, that wouldn't be a good investment, and thus women in Imperial China were not educated. They did not know how to read or write. But enter a group of women of the Yao ethnic minority, or Yaozu, who lived in Jiangyong Xian or Jiangyong County in southern Hunan province. Towards the end of the Qing dynasty, so in the 1800s, it became known that they had created their own secret language to communicate with each other. So like Pig Latin.
Leave me alone!
Aye, avle, uye. Okay.
Uche.
I've had people try to explain Pig Latin to me so many times, I still do not get it. But no, it was a written language, so the women of Jiangyong County could write letters, poetry, and share their feelings of happiness or sorrow with their sworn sisters in their villages. Probably a lot of it was complaining about their husbands too. And this script was called Nushu, or women's writing. It comprises these beautiful looking elongated curved characters written from top to bottom and right to left. This is the only known writing system in the world created completely by women. And you know, it's pretty elegant. Perhaps women should create more writing systems. In case you are curious and want to see a comparison with normal Chinese characters, here are the characters for Nushu side by side with Nushu written in traditional Chinese. You can see the character for woman is an elongated version of the regular Chinese character, and the character for writing has been simplified a little bit with less strokes and elongated as well. According to research from China's Central South University for Nationalities, there are around 2,000 known Nushu characters in existence. Here's a comparison of some of them alongside their Chinese equivalents. Feel free to pause the video and take a look, and unlike tangut characters, this was actually very sensible. Look at the character for one. It's just one stroke. You will often see poems or phrases written in Nushu on decorative items like fans. The ironic thing is, much of the preservation of Nushu is because of this man, Zhou Shuoyi. The English language government-run publication China Daily did an interview with him, quoting him saying, "People say that I'm the first male in the world to inherit a female language." Then they go on to describe him as having a gnomish face peering through cigarette smoke. I guess he doesn't speak English anyway, so he'd never know how they described him in the article. But anyway, in the 1920s, Zhou's aunt married someone in a village that knew Nushu. She brought an etiquette book with her that was written in Chinese and showed it to the women of the village. They liked it and they translated it into Nushu characters. On a visit home, she showed the translated book to 12-year-old Zhou, who was fascinated by the characters and decided that he wanted to learn it. He then began official research into Nushu once he'd grown up at the Jiangyong Cultural Bureau in 1954, which was shortly after the communists came to power in China. I think you can see where this is going. In his interview in China Daily, Zhou describes what happened to him when the communist regime caught wind of his research. I was labeled a rightist because of the research that I had done on the language. They burned all of my research files and I was sent to a labor camp and wasn't released until 1979 after spending 21 years there. It's quite incredible that China Daily actually published that, probably only in English, not in Mandarin. So at this time, extending through the 60s and 70s as the Cultural Revolution raged and angry mobs destroyed anything traditional, Zhou was in prison and the women in the villages in Jiangyong County did not dare to write in Nushu characters. A lot of their existing books and decorative fans or anything with Nushu characters on it were burned by the Red Guards. Yang Huanyi from Jiangyong County was the last woman to be proficient in the writing system, and she died in 2004. Zhou also died that year, but 1 year earlier, in 2003, he had published a Nushu dictionary, and now there is somewhat of a revival going on in Jiangyong County, with a school and museum set up to teach and promote the language. But of course, it isn't really a living written language anymore, but people are studying it out of cultural interest, and they're making money off of it through tourism. And Zhou Shuoyi remains the only man to have ever mastered it. Alright guys, that is the video for today. I love looking at all of this ancient Chinese cultural stuff. And if you like ancient Chinese culture as much as me, then you will love Shenyang Performing Arts, the sponsor of today's video. They are my favorite Chinese performing arts company, showing you myths and legends from Chinese history live on stage through classical Chinese dance. They are just starting their 2026 world tour and may be coming to a theater near you. Click the link below to watch the trailer, and if you do go on to buy a ticket, you can get a waived booking fee on all US tour dates. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.